An ESPN analyst claims that the Lakers have already hired the podcaster as coach. A top recruit decommits from USC football. And Landon Donovan learns the true price of hair restoration. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is June 19th, 2024. We have added a new subscriber to the Angeleno Familia. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. We're going to do our best to keep you informed. And if you like being in the know about LA sports, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. So before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Oh, it was hilarity in Colorado last night. Dodgers 11, Colorado 9. The Dodgers rallied with 7 runs in the 8th inning. And I got to tell you, Colorado's hysterical. I don't just mean funny. I mean Heath Ledger's Joker hysterical. They thought they won the game on a check swing by Teoscar Hernandez. The ump said Hernandez didn't go. He gets another chance. Everybody in Denver loses their minds, even in a state where recreational weed is legal. And next pitch, Hernandez launches a 3-run bomb. The Dodgers take the lead. Good stuff. By the way, the Dodgers lead the West by 9. Connecticut 79, Sparks 70. WNBA second overall draft pick Cameron Brink was carried off the court with an apparent knee injury. She's going to be reevaluated today, but let's be real. The Sparks are 4-11. It might be time to wonder if tanking is a good idea for the top player next year and team her up with a healthy Cameron Brink. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers are at Colorado again at 5:40. Bobby Miller is 1-1 with an ERA of 5.40. Ryan Feltner, 1-6 with an ERA of 5.71. Welcome back, Miller, from an extended day on the injured list. It is Galaxy Game Day. NYCFC is in town to play the Galaxy at 7:30. For LA, no Ricky Puig, no Gaston Brugman, no Jonathan Perez. All of them are out due to injury, but the Galaxy have yet to lose at home. LAFC is at Austin at 5:30. The Black and Gold have won 6 consecutive matches. And Louisville is in town to play Angel City FC at 7. Angel City has not won in its last 5 matches. But let's get to the news. Jay Williams is a former player and a current server of turd-tacular hot takes on the Stephen A. Smith network. He said on their dopey morning show, quote, "You have the Los Angeles Lakers who are trying to figure it out with J.J. Redick, a first-time head coach. We wish him the best of luck." Unquote. And everybody online took that as validation that the podcaster has the gig. Now, I'm not saying Redick won't get the job. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I am praying that he will not get the job. Hell, at this point, I would rather Monty Williams, who was fired just minutes ago by the Detroit Pistons. I'm praying that he gets a shot at talking with Jeannie Buss. But Williams, like 95% of ESPN's on-air roster, is not a reporter. He doesn't have any journalistic knowledge. He hasn't been taught how to do the job. He's just there to put on a suit as a former basketball player and give, ratings hot opinions. Now, it is possible, because J.J. Redick also works a little bit for ESPN, it's possible that Redick and Williams were chatting and Redick let the cat out of the bag. Possible. Either way, bad look for everybody. Because if Williams is wrong, it makes him look like a damn fool that doesn't know what he's talking about. If Williams is right, it suggests that you can't trust Redick to keep a secret. And that's kind of important when you consider the stuff that goes on in the locker room. That stuff needs to stay behind closed doors, as does talking about whether or not you're trying to get a better job. I get job offers all the time as a guy who travels across the country. You don't hear me bragging about it. It's verboten. I want to also, even though this is not specifically to the Lakers, I want to blunt a narrative you've been seeing online. Guys, this is only the beginning for the Boston Celtics. This could be a dynasty. I'm a former reporter. Many of you already know that. The scribes are supposed to write that story whether they believe it or not. It happens every sport at the end of the year for the champion. They wrote that story about the Kansas City Chiefs. They wrote that story about the Texas Rangers. They already have it written for both the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, and the Stanley Cup hasn't even been won yet. So let's not count chickens before they're hatched, Beantown. Go have some more Dunkin' Donuts and listen to some more Marky Mark. One of the top edge rushing recruits in the nation, Isaiah Gibson, has decommitted from USC. He's considered the second best rusher in the recruiting class of 2025. Now look, here at Faithful Angeleno Sports, we do not spend a lot of time critiquing or complaining about the decisions of teenagers because they're teenagers. Instead, I think it's fair to revive a point that some have made about USC's current recruiting. It's cool to invade other states to try to land top prospects. No problem with it. But it's hard to keep them in the fold because they are physically in the other side of the country. It is a 6-hour plane flight from coast to coast. You know, that's a long way. Phone calls don't always cut it. Gibson, by the way, is from Georgia. Guess who else wants Gibson? A national power. Wait for it. Georgia. This might also be an awkward time to add this, but the other big name in the Trojans 2025 recruiting class is quarterback Julian Lewis, who lives in Georgia. So I'm not trying to clown Lincoln Riley. I'm not. I'm just saying that it's a tough row to hoe to try to keep those people in the mix. There is a home and home series that USC had scheduled with Ole Miss, which would have been kind of fun. You know, get a chance to get reacquainted with Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin. Maybe asking him how he's been doing since we saw him last on an airport tarmac. But I digress. The series was canceled by Ole Miss. Now keep in mind, the SEC Hype website, Saturday Down South, did not insinuate that Ole Miss were cowards for canceling the home and home, as they were so pumped up to allege that USC was running away from trying to play LSU this fall. As a matter of fact, those jug-blowing, illiterate hillbillies down in the SEC are still blaming USC when Ole Miss's staff clearly said that the series was called off because they didn't know what the SEC schedule would be. In other words, Ole Miss was possibly running, although I don't want to use that phrase, from USC. And by the way, why do I not want to say, oh, now they're running? It's because if they want to have one cupcake before going into the SEC, who the hell am I to judge? And besides, I still don't believe USC ran. For all we know, USC is, or I should say, for all I know, the SEC is telling Ole Miss, you can't have any difficult off-conference scheduling because we want to make sure that our TV contract gets the best matchups with you at all times. We have no idea what goes into these machinations. It's not a matter of cowardice. If you're an athlete, if you're a professional athlete, or if you're a major college athlete, trust me, you're an alpha most likely, and you want the challenge. You want the challenge. This isn't a matter of fear and loathing. It's a matter of TV money. Texas coach and former Trojans coach Steve Sarkisian was asked on a radio show if he has any regrets. Not in terms of alcoholism or inappropriate behavior in front of USC boosters. No. But about regretting his play calling. He did answer the 4th and 2 call back when he was the offensive coordinator at USC in the 2006 Rose Bowl. Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator for the Trojans back then. Had they converted on that play late in the fourth quarter, it would have likely sealed a three-peat national championship. Instead of giving the ball to Heisman winner Reggie Bush, Sarkisian went with Lendale White up the middle. White had been a power back all season. That game alone, White had rushed for 123 yards. Either way, the Longhorns got the ball back, and Vince Young became a household name a couple of minutes later. Yikes. Boy, do I enjoy reopening that wound. You know, one of the best memories that I have ever had as a sports fan is Galaxy legend Landon Donovan playing for the U.S. men's national team, scoring a stoppage time goal against Algeria in the 2010 World Cup. It's one of the few times that even a jaded curmudgeon such as myself will start screaming and can't stop because something was so amazing. And because of that, I like Landon Donovan. Hell, I met Landon Donovan. I have a photo of the guy. I like him. I also empathize with Landon Donovan because beneath this cap is a crown of nothing, right? But I will say this, if you are running a hair transplant studio, it's not a good idea to hire Landon Donovan to be your spokesman. Because now he is a Fox Sports studio, soccer analyst. He apparently had a procedure done a couple of years ago, and the doctor, if it is a doctor, who I guess takes a needle and stitches thread into your scalp, in order to do the job, the guy had to shave this awkward geometric shape into Donovan's head in order to do the procedure. Because Donovan went on camera and there was this triangle-shaped void in the back of his head. It literally looked like a shark's fin was about to attack his ear. And nobody in the makeup chair at Fox had his back. Thanks, guys. So they just threw him out there with this inverted crater in the back of his skull to be shown to the entire world. The average price, by the way, for a hair transplant, if you're like me, it's about $7,500. And I tell you, I admit, I've saved money. So I want to thank Landon Donovan because you've made me decide to put it into something that's a little bit more useful. Like buying my wife even bigger boobs. I am not going to walk around with big ass patches of skin on the top of my head after I paid the money. It's not happening. Austin Eckler, the former Chargers running back, appears to be embracing reality, and that's good because many people continue to cling to beliefs with no basis in reality, and then years later you see them slumped against a dumpster sitting in their own urine. It was just last offseason, if you recall, that Eckler fancied himself as an elite running back who should get paid. Even tried to organize all the elite running backs, the real elite running backs in the league, so that they could get paid, and in turn, Austin Eckler could get paid. Nobody bought it. Even the Chargers front office, the old one that got fired, they were not that stupid. They told him something along the lines of, you've never rushed for 1,000 yards, here's a choice. Sign this contract or go sell pupusas on a street corner. Your choice. Eckler is now with the Washington Commanders. He went on a radio show and expressed no hard feelings to the Bolts, which means he is starting to recognize that reality always wins. It was, quote, it's like, hey, They want a guy they can hand the ball off to 300 times a year. And look, I haven't had the capacity to do that. That's not my game. That's not how Austin Eckler is going to be the best on the field. So there was this misalignment there. No harm, no foul. I'm going to find myself somewhere where Austin can be the best version of myself out there, unquote. I will grant you he committed the party foul of referring to himself in the third person, which is kind of delusional, like playing air guitar when you score a touchdown. But hey, you can't be expected to regain your sanity like that. I mean, the cops put people on a 72-hour hold for a reason. We mentioned a day or so ago how much CBSSports.com loved what the Rams did in the offseason. They ranked the Rams 6th. ESPN did not feel likewise. They ranked the Rams 20th. This is what they say, quote, "The Rams spent free agency investing in veterans to improve their secondary and the interior of their offensive line. These signings aren't guaranteed wins. Tre'Davious White is coming off an Achilles injury. The guards were probably overpriced. The message is clear. Despite losing Aaron Donald to retirement, the Rams are going for it again while they still can with Matthew Stafford. The Rams did make one of the largest and most obvious errors in the draft, trading a 5th-round pick and a future 2nd-round pick just to move up from 32 to 39 and select Braden Fisk," unquote. Now, a few thoughts about this review. One, there is no such signing that's a guaranteed win. Even Tom Brady faltered in his last year. 2, both guards were among the best in football, and now the Rams have more than 1,000 pounds of muscle protecting Matthew Stafford up the middle. 3, I do not believe trading up to solve an obvious need at defensive tackle qualifies as the most obvious error in the draft. And 4, if you think the Rams are going for it now, you should have seen the trades that they put together for Stafford and Jalen Ramsey. So I'm not sure I buy this analysis. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about the Lakers coaching search and the inevitable and unending drama that it has become. Are you still cool with USC drafting in places like Georgia? Or recruiting in places like Georgia? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Ken Cortel Queso production. Take care.